Before I go ahead and add some extra annotations to make this really figure an interesting figure, I'm going to go ahead and fix one little glitch that's been bothering me. This frame here and the false layer is still on there, and I need to get rid of that. So that's in the false layer, so I have to unlock the false layer, get my white selection arrow, because I just want to get a part of that layer, tap once, I'm going to hit the delete or the backspace key on my keyboard, and you can see that it got rid of just one line in there. It really is serious when it says I'm just going to delete a part of things. But if I hit the delete key again, it's going to get rid of the rest of the rectangle. At least it looked like it did, but it turns out there actually are a number of rectangles all on top of each other right in this spot. So I'm going to hit delete and delete, do it again and again. Trust me, keep going. There we go. Now I got rid of the top part of there, and if I hit one more time, I've now gotten rid of the last rectangle that I don't want. Let's go ahead and indicate the location of the epicenter using a star. Now, see that rectangle tool has a little triangle in the very right corner of it? Well, if you click and hold on the rectangle tool, you'll see that actually you can get some other shapes. Let's go ahead and put a star right here, and we'll go ahead and draw a star in. And if I hold down Shift and Option, I can get it to be in just the right place that I want. And I want it to have a white center, so I'll go ahead and hit Fill, and I'll add a white center to it and a black stroke outline, so that's good. And let's use our black arrow and take a look and see how we did. Oh, that looks nice. Let's go ahead and indicate the area of the danger zone with an ellipse here. So we're going to go ahead and circle an ellipse around that spot there that looks like it's got the most damage. You can see it defaults to having the same fill as my star did, but I can go over here, click on the fill, that's the larger square on the left side, and click on the transparent or no fill, and now I've got that ellipse in there, but it's not quite right. So I think I need to maybe make that a dotted line. I'm going to go to the stroke option here and turn it into a dashed line, and that looks better. I'll click on the word stroke again to make it go, the menu go away. Then I think I want to rotate this. And what's really cool is that when you have your black selection tool and you go near the corners of some of these shapes, you can see that there's that little left-right thing. If I click and hold, that's going to allow me to rotate without even pulling out the rotate tool. So I can move that there. I can use my arrow keys to put it in the right spot, maybe make it a little bit narrower here. And I'm going to mark this here as danger zone. Now to change the font color, let's say I'd like that to be in a white color font. I'm going to change the fill just like I would if it was any other shape. And I'm going to change that fill to a white color. And then I'll go ahead and draw a little line here so I can have an arrow pointing to the danger zone. And there's that line. But you can see my line defaults to having a clear stroke, and that's not what I want. Let me go ahead and give that a white stroke. And then I'd also like it to have an arrowhead. So I'm going to go up to my control strip at the top where it says stroke. I'm going to click on the word stroke, and I'm going to be able to add an arrowhead to one of the ends of that. There we go. Let's see how that looks for us. So we might have to click on our selection tool and click away. That's pretty good. You can zoom in a little bit, maybe make that line a little bit longer. And there's our danger zone. The next thing we might want to do is to make a arrow showing the direction of rupture propagation. Let's go ahead and start with that. And we'll do the same thing. We'll click on the stroke. We'll add an arrowhead. And let's make a really big one, which is our biggest arrowhead. Maybe like that there. And we can make the line have a bigger weight to it. I'm not sure I like that. Maybe I'll go with something more like that. There we go. That looks good. And we can make the stroke go away by clicking on stroke again. And I need to label what that arrow indicates. That is the rupture propagation. The rupture moves in that direction. And I'll make that white again as a fill. So I click on the fill and make it white. And it's too big right now. So let's go ahead and shrink it down. Move it over here. It's getting to be so that's a little bit hard to see. So one of the things that you can do with text is you can also give it a stroke color. I'm going to give it a black outline. And now it has both a black outline and a white center, but the outline's a little bit too thick, so I can go up to the stroke and make it thinner. Something like that, maybe. That looks pretty good. Rupture propagation. And the last thing we need to do is we need to add a legend onto the right side here. The red colors here represent strong shaking. Let's go ahead and put that there. I think that should be left aligned because it will go right up against the edge. I'm going to use my secret tool of holding down Option and Shift and dragging, Option and Shift and dragging that down so I have an exact copy lined up directly below it, except I don't want to call it strong shaking down there. I want that to be called weak shaking. And then I can go ahead and copy one more time and create a label called shaking intensity. Let's make that bigger. Let's go to the character, boost up the size, and now I want to rotate that so that it goes vertically. So I'm going to click there, and just like I did before, I can hold down Shift so I can get that to 90 degrees pretty easily, and then move it along so it's about in the right spot there. That's looking pretty good. Unfortunately, it's off the page, I think. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to unlock the background. I'm going to use on my keyboard, I'm going to select all by using Control-A or Command-A, depending upon which computer you're on. I'm just shifting things over a little ways here. That looks better. Now we're on the page fully. I'll select nothing. And there we go. We've done it. You can add any other annotations that you think will be helpful to make this figure more interesting and clearer.